The episode opens with a somber narration, setting the stage for a world teetering on the edge of environmental and political collapse. With Earth's future hanging in the balance, humanity turns its gaze towards the cosmos, setting its sights on colonizing distant planets. The journey begins with the elite 5-member crew of the Bradbury Heavy mission to Mars, a team that emerged victorious through a grueling selection process and underwent 4 intense years of rigorous training to earn the honor of becoming the first humans to set foot on the Red Planet. Leading this mission is the flight commander Alexa Brandt. Beside her is the pilot Casey Donlin. Engineer Ray Tanaka brings unparalleled technical expertise, ensuring that every piece of equipment functions. Surgeon Catherine Langford, with her medical prowess, is ready to handle any health issues that may arise. Mission specialist Jerry Pearson provides the essential support needed for the team's scientific endeavors. Accompanying them is Tina, the ship's advanced AI. They sit secured in their seats, anxiously anticipating the launch countdown. Emotions run high, fear, excitement, and a burst of giddy energy as they sing along to Family by the Interrupters. Suddenly, a distant alarm shatters their moment, signaling an impending issue. A chaotic exchange of messages reveals that North Korea has launched long-range nuclear missiles, one of which is projected to hit the launch pad within minutes. The crew faces an urgent choice: abandon the vessel or initiate the launch immediately to avoid the impending danger. Despite Tanaka's protests, Brandt orders the liftoff, her cheeks streaked with silent tears. Suddenly, the narrator materializes, cautioning that what we are about to witness might be either personal insanity or a collective nightmare. As the ship ascends above the Earth, the crew tunes into distress broadcasts in various languages. Reports confirm that LA, Seattle, DC, New York, and Chicago have been struck, and in response, the US has launched retaliatory nuclear strikes against Russia and North Korea. Unfortunately, the protective porthole cover, shielding them from lethal space radiation, also blocks their view of the devastation below. Now, they confront another dire decision. Should they attempt to re-enter Earth, risking almost certain death upon landing? Should they open the porthole and continue orbiting their possibly doomed planet until they succumb to starvation? Or should they proceed with their mission to Mars, which now appears to be a one-way journey? During their debate, Pearson introduces the concept of the Great Filter, a theory suggesting that life in the universe is exceptionally rare, difficult to initiate, and even more challenging to sustain. According to this theory, the ultimate test for an advanced civilization is whether it can reach another planet before self-destruction occurs. Most civilizations fail this test, which explains why humanity has never encountered other intelligent beings in the universe. Pearson emphasizes that humanity is on the verge of collapse, and this mission was crafted to secure a future for mankind. Embracing the spirit of the family they've become, and hoping to inspire any survivors on Earth, the crew decides to steer the shuttle toward Mars. They started this journey aware that their loved ones might be left in uncertainty if anything went wrong. Now it's their turn to wonder about the fate of their families as they embark on this extended voyage. 211 days until arrival, Brandt decides to block all calls to Earth as the endless ringing with no one to answer is devastating to morale, particularly for Tanaka. 189 days until arrival. Pearson spots a humanoid figure on one of the display screens. 188 days to arrival. The atmosphere at the dinner table is tense. Pearson, engrossed in his narrative, over-explains Asterisk, a radio play from the 1930s where Martians invade New Jersey. He contrasts it with modern shows like Asterisk Wildcards Asterisk, explaining how the play used simulated news reports and remote interviews to create a sense of realism that fooled many listeners who tuned in late, causing widespread panic. Donlin, meanwhile, simply wants someone to pass the broccoli, growing increasingly impatient with Pearson's lengthy monologue. The dinner conversation drifts into a debate about the taste of their food, with Pearson wondering if the tomatoes in the sauce are real or powdered. The crew reminisces about a dish Mrs. Brandt made for a pre-launch potluck, comparing the taste to their current meal. Suddenly, the lights flicker, and the crew is jolted by the reminder that Tina, their onboard AI, hasn't received its mandatory 30-day update from Mission Control due to their isolation. This lapse underscores their growing sense of vulnerability and the increasing unreliability of their situation. The flickering lights serve as a stark reminder of their precarious circumstances, amplifying the underlying tension at the dinner table. 155 days to arrival. Despite her own rule against calling home, Brant, wearing her sleep bonnet, sneaks out of bed to make a call. She listens to the phone ring until a voicemail message informs her that the mailbox she once shared with her partner Natalie is full. This bittersweet reminder of her past life weighs heavily on her as she stands in the dim light, yearning for any sign of normalcy or connection. Then a noise catches Brant's attention, and she discovers Tanaka and Donlin fogging up the windows with their intimate activities. Brant angrily reprimands them, emphasizing that pregnancy and childbirth under their strict rationing would be disastrous. She stresses the mission's design constraints, reminding them that they cannot afford any accidents or additional crew members. Brant points out that their supplies are meticulously calculated for a 5-person crew, and any deviation, like the increased caloric needs for pregnancy and breastfeeding, would be catastrophic. Tanaka, feeling targeted and misunderstood, leaves the confrontation angrier than ever, exacerbating the already high tensions within the crew. The encounter underscores the strain of their circumstances and the fragility of their cohesion as they navigate the challenges of their mission. 134 days to arrival. A sympathetic Langford approaches Brant, sensing her distress. Langford knows that Brant has been struggling with nightmares and wants to offer support. She understands the toll the mission has taken, especially since her husband Michael asked for a divorce when she accepted this journey to Mars. Langford gently probes, asking if Brant regrets her decision, to which Brant somberly reflects on the choice she had to make between her husband and the mission, only to end up with neither. Brant opens up about her recurring nightmare, and she describes how she dreams of being at her parents' home in San Diego with the clear blue sky and the ocean in view. Natalie, her partner, is there, along with her family, creating a scene of comfort and familiarity. However, the dream takes a distressing turn when Brant realizes within the dream that it's not real, that she's still on the ship. The true nightmare, she explains, is waking up to the stark reality of their mission, far from home and loved ones. Langford, whose own struggles have made her the emotional anchor of the crew, reassures Brant that she isn't alone. She reminds her that they are all in this together, that Brant is not just their commander, but a pivotal figure in their makeshift family. Langford emphasizes that they need her strength and leadership, likening her to a mother figure for their small, isolated group. However, Brant, weighed down by the enormity of their situation, counters with a bleak assessment of her role, describing herself as the commander of a slow suicide mission. The exchange highlights the deep emotional burdens they carry and the thin line between hope and despair on their journey. 115 days to arrival. Tanaka, driven by a desperate need to connect with home, breaks protocol and attempts to contact Earth. As static fills the comms, she is left with anticipation. The possibility of making contact with Earth, even briefly, brings a wave of hope and excitement. However, her joy is short-lived. The voice she hears is not a real-time connection, but an old Munster TV broadcast that has been bouncing through space for decades. Meanwhile, Pearson is deteriorating. He gazes at his reflection in the mirror, averts his eyes, and then looks back. In a bizarre and unsettling act, he reaches his bare hand into the toilet, tracing his finger along the rim before making a note in his increasingly full and disturbing notebook. 76 days to arrival. Under Langford's guidance, the crew gathers materials to create a makeshift cake and candles to celebrate Brant's birthday. They sing Happy Birthday, and then share a joyful moment with a group dance party to California Dreaming. It's filled with laughter and camaraderie until Langford breaks down in tears from the overwhelming pressure of being the team's mom. Then Pearson steps in to worsen the situation. He presents them all with a gift, his data collection. He has concluded that none of this is real, that it's merely a test of their endurance for the actual mission. According to Pearson, this means everyone on Earth is fine and their ordeal is just a simulation. As his shipmates listen in alarm to his rambling, Tina alerts them to an incoming solar flare that will fatally fry the ship and its inhabitants. While Langford attempts to calm Pearson, the rest of the crew scrambles to reposition the ship's solar shield to block the incoming flare and save everyone's lives. The tension mounts as they race against time to avoid impending doom. As the temperature rises and the ship's electrical systems spark and catch fire, Pearson desperately pleads with them to believe they are in a 6 degrees of freedom simulator. He points to the lack of crystallization around the toilet gasket as proof, shouting, "They're watching us." His frantic assertion adds to the chaos as the crew battles to save the ship. While the rest of the crew frantically works to turn the ship towards safety, Pearson takes a final, desperate leap of faith. He opens the airlock, now facing the solar flare, fully convinced he won't face an excruciating death, but will instead find his friends and family waiting for him on the other side. As the door opens, the intense light blinds him, engulfing him in a blinding radiance. 67 days to arrival, the 4 remaining crew members grimly clean their living space after the flare temporarily knocks out the gravity. Langford, now sporting a neck rash that hopefully isn't radiation, emerges from the bathroom with crystallization from the toilet gasket on her finger. Despite this, Tanaka still wonders if Pearson might have been right. In a moment of eerie hope, Donlin calls out to knock twice if they're over there, but Langford intervenes, saying that, like so many explorers before him, Pearson died after losing his sense of home. She cautions them not to romanticize his actions. "We may not have a home, but we have each other." Tina cues up family again, but this time, the song feels far less joyful, resonating with their somber mood and the stark reality they face. Arrival day, the quartet suits up and straps in for a turbulent descent. Brant voices the question on everyone's mind: did we land on Mars? With bated breath, they open the command module porthole, revealing their final resting place. Craggy mountains and valleys spread across a strange alien landscape. They have made it through the Great Filter. But Pearson was right, they were being watched. An alien speech reveals an unseen being reviewing the data from the Bradbury. The alien announces that the humans exceeded their expectations, succeeding where most life forms fail. They express particular admiration for the observant Pearson, whom they rescued from the solar flare and placed into some kind of restorative good bath. As Pearson wakes up, the alien speaks, acknowledging that although it took the near destruction of their planet, the crew of the Bradbury remained resilient and inquisitive. They are worthy of salvation. The alien voice concludes, "Prepare to make contact." The episode wraps up with a contemplative narration on the nature of perception and trust. The crew of the Bradbury Heavy mission to Mars, having faced numerous challenges and illusions, learned a profound lesson. Their senses and beliefs are not always reliable. As they continue their journey, they grapple with the unsettling realization that the truth is elusive and that their understanding of reality may be fundamentally flawed. This poignant exploration of trust and perception sets the stage for the mysterious and thought-provoking world of the Twilight Zone.